felt prior to starting the red light therapy. You'll notice changes in your skin. You'll notice changes in your hair. Your energy and mood will be significantly different.
So good morning, Dr. Abaza. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm happy to be on here with you. This is a great start to my day.
Yeah, it's a little cold here. Is it a little cold where you're at?
2 feet of snow in New Jersey.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we got about a foot here. So I am so excited that you joined me today. Thank you so much. I know you're super busy running your clinic there and then helping people around the country with red light in their clinics. So thank you so much for being here.
I'm honored to be on. My passion is speaking red light, so hopefully I'm able to provide some value for you and your patients today.
Yeah, great. So I just want to introduce you. Obviously, you are experienced chiropractor. You've been practicing for a long time, and then you added red light therapy to your clinic, and it's just been phenomenal. And you also educate patients and doctors around the world about red light therapy and how it can help them and how it can be, useful in their practice. Can you before we talk about all of that, can you start from the beginning? What originally inspired you to bring red light therapy into your clinic, and what problem you were hoping that it would solve for your patients?
So my wife and I were in practice at the time about 5 years when I first got into red light therapy. Naturally, being a big football fan of the NFL, I started to read articles about how athletes were spending their time and their money for recovery, right? What do athletes want? They want to perform as best they can, and they want to recover as fast as they can. And I was reading these articles about how every single one of these NFL stadiums now had these full body, medical grade red light beds that the athletes were using after practice and after games to improve performance, increase muscle growth, and improve recovery times. So that was very intriguing to me. I started to do more and more research, and I started to wonder, is this something that I can actually bring into my facility? Because like you and me, every single doctor is trying to solve the problem of how do I get my patients better results? Because if I'm not getting them the results that they want, they're gonna go to other healthcare practitioners. So truth be told, that was the initiating factor of bringing red light therapy into my own clinic.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know I see a ton of athletes in my clinic too, and just people that want to even, get in shape. And one of the main things that I think takes people out of working out and quitting a program or a workout program is pain, injury, things like that. So having these useful tools that are natural, that are going to accelerate the healing process for my patients has been incredible. So it's really exciting. So many people are, familiar with the red light mask. I have a med spa in my clinic, so many people come in and say they have that, or like the handheld devices. But what makes whole body red light so different, and why does that matter really, rather than just having a mask or a little device that you could just put on your elbow?
This is a great question that I could talk about for hours and hours, but I'll try and condense my response.
Yeah.
The truth is, for anybody listening to this, it doesn't have to be one or the other. In fact, I would say that it should be both. That's what I recommend to my own patients. That's what me and my family do. We have 2 small kids. I'm married. So we have the at-home devices like the mask and like the belt, and me and my kids and my wife use it at home. Especially, that's appropriate, I would say, for wound and injury healing. My kids are jumping off the couch all the time. They know the first thing when they hurt themselves is to go put the red light pad on. That said, my wife and I still use the full body medical grade bed in our facility 2 to 3 times per week. So what really is the difference between the two things? When it comes down to red light, what you want is the full body. Why? Because it offers the most amount of lights. When you're talking about the results that a person would receive from using red light and near infrared light therapy, the first thing they should look at is how many lights will the body be exposed to? The more lights equals the more exposure, which means a better outcome for them.
Mhm. Right.
I think you have to view this perspective as well. We're taught when we go to our primary care physician, if you have elbow pain, you say, "Doc, I've got elbow pain." The doctor looks where? They look right at the elbow. Doc, you and I as holistic healthcare practitioners, as chiropractors, we tend to have a different lens on things. Our patients tell us we have elbow pain and we'll look at the elbow, but we understand that the body is an entire organism. It's a mechanism wherein everything is connected and works together. And I think that is something that resonates now more than ever with patients, the understanding that everything is connected and works together. So wouldn't it make sense to apply the therapy to the entire body at one time, to bathe the entire body in the therapy for the best result? I would argue so. The big takeaway I would give your patients is, invest into an at-home device. It's going to be very useful for you and your family. I think we're getting to a point in time where probably 5 or 10 years from now, every single household will have some version of red light therapy at home. It will never create the outcome that something like your bed has, and that's why I argue to use both.
Yeah, and I would agree with that because I do the same thing. I live an hour away from my clinic, so I have a panel at my home and we use it for any injuries, and I will do that panel but I always get in the bed. I'm in the office 4 times a week. I get in that bed 4 times a week because just the feeling of all of those red lights getting your full body, and a lot of inflammation too stems in the gut. So it's going to affect the organ systems and promote healing. And so I love that full body approach. Thank you so much for that information. So let's talk a little bit about so it's just a 15-minute session, which is so powerful. So it doesn't take a lot of time and the outcomes are just phenomenal for 15-minute session. So tell me a little bit about what happens in the red light. I know it affects energy, the mitochondria, healing. Just simplify how it works per se.
Yes, and herein lies the challenge with red light therapy, because it does so many things that oftentimes as we start to educate our patients about what's going to happen when they use these red light beds, it sounds like a magic pill. It sounds too good to be true. So the wall goes up, skepticism goes up, as it did with me when I began my journey into learning more about red light therapy. There's a lot. I would say a very important thing is for patients to educate themselves. You can use PubMed, you can use Google Scholar, you can just type in red light therapy. You will quite literally find thousands of pieces of literature to support the effectiveness of red light therapy helping with a wide variety of conditions. What's really happening when somebody is laying inside the bed? Let's break it down to a physiological level, but keep it as simple as possible. Our body is made up of trillions of cells. The cells are like the foundation for everything inside of our body. Our cells produce something called ATP, okay? ATP is just a fancy way of saying energy. As we age, this cellular energy, this ATP, naturally decreases over time. This is why we start to look older. We start losing hair. Our metabolism slows down. That little scratch takes a week to heal instead of a day to heal. Every bodily process slows down.
Right.
This is why I view red light therapy as an anti-aging device, not because on the outside it just makes you look younger, but because on the inside, scientifically, it's reverse engineering your body to function in a way like it did when you were 10, 15, 20 years younger. When the body is exposed to these wavelengths of red light and near infrared light, it tricks the cell to produce up to 200% more ATP, 200% more energy. Then the question is this, Doc, what would the cells do better with 200% more energy, more ATP? they would do everything better.
Everything.
They would be functioning like they did when you were 18 years old. So that's the core science behind it all. That's how the improvement in blood flow happens. That's how hair regrows. That's how metabolism speeds up. That's why recovery happens faster. That's why muscle growth improves. It all stems from the fact that we are increasing cellular energy.
Yeah, that's amazing, because when I explain it to my patients, if they're coming in for a medical facial, I'll tell them, hey, after you get your facial, you might want to do some red light and therapy sessions in this pod, because it's going to first help you heal so much faster. It's going to eliminate any bruising, and then it's also going to help accelerate collagen production and for anti-aging. And then the same thing, because we do a lot of platelet-rich fibrin injections for joints, and I always put in treatment plans, let's get in the red light pod, because that's going to accelerate and make your results so much better, especially right after the procedure. I had a person who broke their ankle and they had to have it totally reconstructed. And he was very educated on red light therapy. And so he said, I'm going to limp into your office and do the red light right after the surgery. And he has pictures of before and after. He went back to his orthopedic surgeon, and the surgeon had never seen such incredible healing. It almost looked like and this was 4 days after he didn't even have surgery, because the wound healing and the healing of the joint was so fast. And even his physical therapist said, I've never seen someone respond so fast after such a surgery. Now, can you talk a little bit about collagen production, specifically for anti-aging and wrinkles? I know us, especially us women, we all want to look at, I know men do too, but so, for wrinkles and for tightening of the skin and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to go back for a second, Doc, to what you just mentioned, because my top recommendation for any patient, any person who's about to have surgery, the number one treatment plan I can give you post-surgery is get into Dr. Christina's full body red light bed as quickly as possible. I have seen testimonials like that in my own office time and time again. There's so much science now behind red light therapy, and the results are undeniable. We are seeing now a lot of hospitals, a lot of surgical centers, a lot of orthopedics, a lot of dental offices, all using red light therapy to speed up the healing process. It's not just chiropractors or med spas like you and I. There's a lot of traction within the red light therapy world right now. But to answer your question about collagen production, for a long time, so red light therapy in its origination, it started with research being done by NASA. They were having their astronauts exposed to red light therapy. This goes back to the early 1980s. You flash forward to about 2010, and that's when these red light face masks became very popular. Probably a lot of the patients listening right now have seen ads for those online. They're very effective. Same thing with the full body bed. What's happening is twofold. One, when the red light gets to the skin, the red light itself, not the infrared light, but the red light itself is going to dilate. It's going to open up blood vessels, allowing more blood and therefore more oxygen to reach the skin. Skin's the biggest organ in the body. We've all heard that circulation is important, right? We want blood flow going everywhere. But let's break it down a little bit further. Why is it important to get blood flow everywhere? It's because blood carries oxygen with it. Every blood cell carries oxygen. What happens to tissues that don't receive oxygen? They die. Just like anything else, if we don't get oxygen, we die off, we degenerate over time. So when our skin is being exposed to the red light, we're getting more blood flow into the skin, and therefore we're getting more oxygen. For me, it's the very first thing I see in my own patients when they're using the red light bed. Within a few visits, they have better skin color, and at that time, the fine lines are already starting to go away. Again, red light does so much, right? It sounds too good to be true oftentimes. You're getting that blood flow improvement, but you're also getting an increase in collagen production.
Right.
A lot of patients will say, well, I take collagen. That's great,
Yeah.
but it's never gonna be as good as your body's own production of natural, real collagen. And the red light is helping to stimulate the production of that collagen.
Yeah. And I've seen a huge difference in my skin. I'm in my 50s, and so most people are very surprised by that. And red light has made a huge, huge difference. And I have so many testimonials of people that were like, patients saying that their friends are asking, "What are you doing? You're looking so much younger. Your hair, hair growth, especially." For hair loss, that's a really big thing too. People and it's natural, which is nice. So in terms of a big thing that we use in our practice for the red light is weight loss and body contouring. And it's so incredible that we can use such a natural therapy for weight loss and body contouring. So can you tell me a little bit about how it works? Because a lot of my patients are losing 2 to 4 inches in just one session, and they are just so excited. They're losing a pant size and they're just amazed. So tell me a little bit about the science behind that.
Again, sounds too good to be true, right? I had heard about this happening with specific wavelengths of red light, but it wasn't until I brought red light therapy into my own practice and used my own brother as a guinea pig first to see, okay, is this actually gonna cause him to lose inches? So what we did is he came in the first day my red light bed got delivered. We took all of his measurements, his bicep, his forearm, his lower abdomen, upper, his legs. He did one 15-minute session. He came out and he lost 6.5 inches combined amongst all the measurements. Me and him were laughing because we were like, this is, again, it's too good to be true. And now I see it every single day. The way I actually advertise my red light for my facility out to the public is that I guarantee that they lose at least 1 inch because I know it's going to happen. So what's the science behind it? You lay down in the bed, the red light and the near infrared light penetrates inches deep past the skin and reaches the fat cell. It pokes little holes into the wall of the fat cell, allowing the fatty acids to come out of the fat cell, and then the body just processes that naturally. So what's happening to the fat cell after everything leaks out? The fat cell doesn't get permanently destroyed, but those holes close off and then it shrinks down. So we go from having grape-like fat cells down to pancake-like fat cells. The neat thing about it is no side effects, no pain, no burning, no itching, no scarring. The common question that everyone has as they listen to that naturally will be, will the weight stay off? Of course it'll stay off if you do the right things with your diet. Just like going to the gym, right? We can't do an hour-long workout, burn all of these calories, and then stop at McDonald's on the way home and expect to keep our progress. When the fat cell releases all of those fatty acids, they have to go somewhere, right? We have to get the fatty acids out of the body. So how do we do that, or how do we encourage the promotion of that? Well, the fatty acids are going to be taken up by the lymphatic system. How do we stimulate the lymphatic system? We have them hop on the vibration plate. So it's a strong recommendation I make to any client who's looking to lose weight. Don't just do the red light. Make sure you're always using the vibration plate immediately after.
Yeah, and that's something that if somebody comes in, excuse me, and is looking for that, I'm going to counsel them on that. And then we have an incredible treatment plan with some support drops and all of other things as well, which is really, really great. If we could talk just a little bit about like some of the other conditions like neuropathy. It helps with also neuromuscular conditions, disc protrusions, headaches, and then also it helps with sleep. So many people talk about not being able to sleep well. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. Truly, red light, even if you don't have any symptoms or conditions, I would argue if you were to use full body red light therapy 2 to 3 times a week for a month, at the end of that month, you'll feel drastically different than when you felt prior to starting the red light therapy. You'll notice changes in your skin, you'll notice changes in your hair, your energy and mood will be significantly different. If you're over the age of 40, you're probably going to notice changes in your eyesight. You're going to be sleeping deeper. The benefits go on and on. If you have neuropathy and you're not doing red light therapy, it might be the single biggest factor that you're missing right now. Because in neuropathy, the nerves where the symptoms lie are not getting enough blood flow. And because they're not getting enough blood flow, they're not getting enough oxygen. So quite literally, the nerves are dying off. We need to reinvigorate those nerves with blood flow. Red light therapy is the best way to do it. Do the red light and hop on the vibration plate. You will open up your blood vessels. You'll feed blood into those nerves. It'll be like a plant that hasn't been watered in years. You ever see those peace lilies that are wilting? And then as soon as you give them water, 30 minutes later, it's like they're coming back to life. I've seen that with my own neuropathy patients. The difference that they experience tends to be very quick. Sometimes after one session, they'll come back on the next session and be like, I want to do this daily because that's the best that I've felt in years.
Yeah, I have to say the same thing since I've had my bed for several months, is that people with arthritis, that the doctor says you just have to live with, or a disc problem, or just general fibromyalgia or pain, they report a huge change in such a short period of time. That their hands have never felt better, the arthritis in their joints, all of that kind of stuff. And I know we talked about the eyes. I'm the type of person that goes into the red light and, you can wear the eye gear if you want, or you cannot. I mean, but it's actually healing for the eye and eye conditions, right?
I'm so happy you brought this up because it's something I dealt with a lot early on when I brought red light therapy into my clinic. People see the bed and what does it look like? It looks like a tanning bed. And when you go into a tanning bed, those are very strong lights. They're UV lights, and we're taught that we got to put those goggles on to protect our eyes. I want to be very clear. You don't, and I would recommend that you shouldn't be having goggles on when you lay in the bed. You can do two things. You can either keep your eyes open, and like anything else, guys, if you're looking at the light and it's tending to irritate your eyes, just close your eyes. Or you can keep your eyes closed. I'll tell you, keeping your eyes closed, it's not going to stop the penetration of light into the eyes. But the reason in my practice I don't allow my patients to wear any goggles, whether they choose to keep their eyes open or closed, is because there's new literature out of Europe where now red light therapy, it's become the standard treatment for age-related eye conditions for people over the age of 40. If you have age-related vision loss like macular degeneration, we are seeing amazing outcomes. One of my friends, another doctor, she's been having eye surgery for years. Her eyes have just been declining. She's in her 60s. Within a month of using the bed, her vision has changed night and day. She still can't believe it. Her eye doctor does not believe it. But take advantage of that. The literature, and check that literature out when you can.
Okay.
But there's absolutely going to be no damage to the eyes, no side effects to the eyes, only improvements.
Yeah. And I know I always, I give people the choice, but most people, I would say, just close their eyes when they're in the bed. And it's actually very relaxing. So thank you. And then also, I just wanted to talk about like some of the sports teams. I mean, we're so lucky to have this kind of technology, and not all, beds are created alike. You have to have, some of those beds in the gym are not going to be high powered like mine. There has to be a certain amount of LEDs, wavelengths. Some of them only have 2 or 3 wavelengths. Ours has 5, a very high irradiance. I know the Blackhawks have one, a lot of, the Raiders, a lot of these sports teams have them, and now we actually have this technology, and their players are using it for healing and joint and energy and sports recovery. So that's pretty incredible. But also, it's very safe. So it's not like getting in a tanning bed and you're not going to get burned by the lights, because a lot of people will walk by the room and say, "Oh, you got a tanning bed?" I'm like, "No." So just quickly, just about the safety and some of these sports teams.
Yeah, no UV lights, no reported side effects, no burning, no itching, no scarring. If you haven't used a bed before, it's not going to feel hot. It'll feel like laying on the beach on a warm day.
Yeah.
It's quite relaxing. Most people hop out of that and they feel very energized. They're in a good mood. It's a joke we make in my practice all the time, especially in winter in New Jersey. Everyone walks in and their face is like,
yeah, totally.
And they walk out with a big smile on their face after their red light session. You don't have to be concerned about anything. You can always start with smaller session times too. If you're someone who you've known in the past, if you're someone who you have very sensitive skin, quite frankly, I do. You can start with a 5 or 10 minute session and work your way up. But the red light therapy is going to help that sensitive skin as well. For the athletes, as I mentioned before, every single NFL team using this now. It's translated over to the MLB, to the NHL, NBA. Athletes are using it for muscle hypertrophy, increase in testosterone, sleep, performance, and really the biggest one, recovery. Especially, this is why it got so popular with NFL teams first. I have heard that playing a professional football game, it's like getting into a major car accident every single Sunday. And then you have another game the next Sunday. Of course, these guys are going to invest in the most expensive, the most effective therapies out there to recover as quickly as possible. So the argument I would make is that if it's good enough for a professional athlete, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, I would agree. And we're just so lucky to have this technology now. And then somebody, who's on the fence and doesn't know if they'll work for that, if it will work for them or not work for them, what kind of advice would you give them about that?
Okay, I think skepticism is natural. As I mentioned, I was skeptical initially. I'm a researcher. I've got a few scientists under care in my office, and I remember my initial conversations with them. There was a very big wall up. It's step one, go on Google Scholar, go on YouTube, go on PubMed. You'll read so much, you'll become quickly convinced that this is an effective therapy. From there, when you view the therapy, I would caution you, do not view it as a magic pill. If we can be honest, we live in the Amazon Prime day and age where everybody expects delivery overnight. And if I could remind you, that's not how health and healing happens. Healing takes time and repetition. Of course, when we're sick and unwell, we want our health to flip like that. And I'm in the same boat as you guys. I am the same way. I'm impatient when it comes to stuff like that. This is just to serve as a reminder. Red light therapy is not a magic pill. I've seen miracles happen in one session, but for the vast majority of people, the people seeing the true outcomes are using it consistently over time. Yeah. I like to make the analogy of going to the gym. If you're trying to lose 20 pounds, can you lose it in one workout? No. Yeah. You want to go probably 3 times a week for a couple weeks, a couple months, and you'll see the outcomes. The last thing I'll leave you with, Doc, and your patients with is, if you can commit to using red light therapy, let's say 2 times a week for a year, your health 1 year from the day of starting red light will quite literally be night and day different. Your mood, your energy, your sleep, your recovery times, you will look different. Your body will be functioning different. You can get all of this tested through blood work and through your primary care. You'll quite literally be a different person, and that's the best application of red light therapy. It's to incorporate it quite simply as a lifestyle routine.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And once you start going and you feel the difference, It's just so incredible. And
You never want to stop.
You don't want to stop. And it is part of it. And there are no magic pills with anything, like you said. So what I'm offering, actually, it's so exciting to have this pod and this technology that I want to share it with everyone. But I am starting off with offering a free mapping session to my patients and to my former patients and any of their guests, friends, and family. And it no strings attached, free mapping session where I will sit down with them personally and meet with them and be able to go over how what their symptoms or what they're trying to improve, and then how red light could potentially help them. And I am offering it just because it's almost all my spots are filled at this point, just until mid to the end of March. And then, usual price is around $150. So they're getting it for free. So I'm very excited about that.
To all the patients listening to this, we live in a day and age where typically nothing is free anymore. So that's very gracious of you to give all of that time. I hope as many patients as possible take advantage of that. I know you had mentioned to me off of this call that you're going to be giving some ridiculous discounts to those patients as well. So by all means, this is something, I would argue you should invest into. I'm always going to make the argument that there's nothing better than an investment into your health. Nobody ever reaches the end of their life and regrets spending time or money on their health. They've actually done a study on that, Doc, top 5 end of life regrets. And within the top 5, people wish they had allocated more time and resources to their health. So this is a great way to take advantage of something that's quite literally going to bathe the entire body in red light and be a full body health makeover for them.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about it, and I'm already having incredible results. And before I launch it to the full public, I wanted to share it with the people that trust me and that I've been seeing over the years and their friends and family. So I'm excited. So if you haven't made your appointment already, spots are really filling up fast. So just comment yes to this video, or you could call the office, or you could even stop by if you're coming in for any of your treatments, and we'll get you scheduled. Well, Jason, thank you so much for spending your morning with me. Always a pleasure. And
I was honored
hope
to
you
be on
stay
here,
warm
Doc.
and hope for no more snow. But if we're cold, we could get into that red light, right?
I plan to today. It's on my list of things to do. Thank you so much for having me.
I know. Thank you. All right. Have a great day.
Catch you later, Doc.
Bye.